Given all the various challenges we face today as a part of the human race, it is clear we have no real control over the external, the larger environment, or the outcome. This means we must change all of our priorities to value the internal and intrinsic parts of ourselves as the most critical parts to preserve and feel happiness. This means a lot. Of what we can't control is how we think and what we move towards. Most of our happiness relies on our personal attitudes. No matter who we are and what level of spiritual development we have, all humans can relate to these pillars in order to remember how we each can find happiness while seeing or experiencing personal or global turmoil. The 4 pillars for being happier. Expansion. Personal growth towards spiritual authenticity and having a variation of life experiences to create that expansion. Connection. Having meaningful human relationships and cultivating deep connections in our life. Gratitude. Practicing appreciation and gratitude for what you have every day. Service. Being of service and making contributions to the larger whole, making a difference. Happiness and gratitude is an attitude that we all can create more of every day. There are many things that we are facing in the world today and in our own lives that are challenging and painful. This fact does not have to change one's ability to feel happy every day of your life, even while seeing the larger picture. As we become more expanded in our personal growth, we begin to experience the feelings of connection with all of life, and we then can choose to be grateful that we can make a difference through our intentional service to the world. Shadows are only powerful when they remain hidden and buried. As the shadow masquerades in falsity that uses fear to torment us with lies. Be brave to reveal them and place them to face your real spiritual self, the eternal self. As I am God, I am sovereign, I am free. Our personal sovereignty awaits us through the release of fears by applying personal responsibility to our thoughts and emotions. Choose your authority now, knowing that you are a God, sovereign, free being. Thank you. Love, Liza Renee, and the ES community. Hello, beautiful souls made of love and light. Welcome to another session dedicated to the Krystal Aegis pages. This session dedicated to the Krystal Aegis, as you have listened, is dedicated to addressing all the various challenges we face today as a part of the human race, and it is clear that we have no real control over the external, the larger environment, or the outcome. This is what we will work today. And for that we will use the Krystal Aegis booklet pages that you can download for free in the krystalaegis.com website. All the material that you have listened in prior videos can be found inside this booklet. You can print it or have it download for working offline. You may find some differences between webpage and booklet. In my view, the booklet is more complete and nicer, a workbook to use on your daily, day-to-day life. Thank you for being there, and let's get started, shall we? First, let's create a safe, sacred space, and for that, we have chosen the agreement and request for intercession. State it out loud, please. I, Rafael José Lopes Ferreira, choose fully the authority of God's laws and that which serves the light of truth. I commit to my healing and request guardian intercession on my behalf to restore the correct proportions of my manifestation body to the eternal perpetual supply of the God source. I am God, I am sovereign, and I am free. I promise to fully participate in my relationship to healing my body and commit to the processes set forth in partnership with God source and guardian alignment through the Krystal Aegis sponsorship. I state my intention of self-sovereignty through the unity vow as a handshake which allows God Source and its crystal guardians to surround and protect me. The group Unity Vow Decree. Defender, warriors of truth, sovereignty, liberation, guardian races serving the One. From across all the multiverse, I call upon you to join me now. My unification principle is demonstrated in the waves of omni-love. I sound my heart note to you now. My template updated, individually and collectively renewed, and forever perpetuated in the eternally sustained light. My body and being is consecrated and dedicated to the purpose of One, and I endeavor to be the knower of God, to then be the way shower of God. Please sustain me in the eternal power of my original God consecration. I have asked for intervention in order to hold my highest purposes in service to the one light, the living light code. My intention is unification, the cosmic Christ principle as an energetic reality here and now. I request this handshake to fortify my spiritual links through the universal cosmic triad and into the core of one, the 0-point God matrix, that which is the source of my genesis. It is with deep reverence for all of life, dear God, that I ask you to breathe your life codes into my created form. I set my intention now to remember what I am, fully, completely, and totally. I am ready to go beyond the fear and shadow to fulfill God's plan on earth and beyond. I state my mutual purpose as one. Please resurrect my body and being into the organic patterns of the one organic, living light now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now let's address soul wounds. I ask, any parts of my being that are wounded, traumatized, and in pain, that reside as a separate identity or alter and have another name in my body, mind, or spirit, please reveal yourself to me now. I am guided by the Holy Spirit to protect all aspects of my identities and bodies. I ask any of my beloved identities in any time or space to please come forward and speak to me now, so that I may recognize you, witness you, and love you with all of my heart. Holy Mother, please return my loving spiritual heart to free my personalities through all time and space. Holy Mother, please love and hold my inner child with unconditional love. Holy Mother, please love and hold my teenager with unconditional love and forgiveness. Holy Mother, please love and hold my adult self with unconditional love and forgiveness. In the authority of Christ, all parts of my being that are wounded and in pain as a separate identity or alter, identify yourself now. As we address the inner child, all identities, parts of the body, and alters are loved, understood, embraced, and accepted in the Holy Spirit and God's abiding love for you. As you allow identities to surface, they are often tormented by hurt and pain, and it is vital that they feel comfortable releasing that in order to receive the healing of the Holy Spirit in that area of the person's soul, sending you loving comfort to them. Tell the personalities in your body how much God and Christ truly loves them. With all of your heart, shine the light of love to all of these hidden spaces to reveal them in the light. Ask them to forgive you and to allow forgiveness to heal and integrate them. Beloveds, I, the Spirit of Christ, to heal all of my personalities, to truly love God, to know God, to feel God's love for me. Every aspect of my being is loved by God. I am a child of God's love. Now tell you how much you love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Personalities, just as the core person, have legal grounds of which allow or refuse demonic permission or access to inhabit and torment them. It is important to get the personality aspects or altars, to break any harmful soul ties, destructive actions, renounce harmful vows, remove harmful spiritual objects, such as implants, in order to refuse and terminate the demonic spirit right to access this part of the person's mind, body, or spirit. I address any implant, ritual, object, altar, symbol, gem, numerical value, name, color, or false god which has been used to bind my identity to demonic forces within my mind, body, or spirit. I am a child of God. I accept the laws of God in Christ's name as a self-sovereign being loved by God unconditionally. I command my right to reclaim my core spiritual identity as single soul occupied and to remove all bondage and agreements between these spiritual, ritual objects, symbols, curses, ceremonies, implants, entities, demonic or satanic spirits, or essences. I denounce all connection to these artifacts in past, present, or future timelines within all identities of my body to serve the God purpose of my core spiritual being. I ask all of my being and its aspects to break the tie of any agreements that are destructive to my spirit. In the authority of Christ, all agreements, objects, or symbols of mental and spiritual bondage, identify yourself now. In the authority of Christ, I ask to return to rightful owner. Any keys? To unlock places and spaces in my body that I reclaim in the Christ. I ask my avatar Christ self to inhabit my body and to take over any hidden spiritual spaces to be revealed and brought into the light of truth. Return now to my Christ and core spirit, all keys, jewels, body parts, and essences that are required to reclaim these spaces as one with God and Christ. Return all master keys and master codes to my avatar Christ Spirit now. Identify that to me now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is, lovingly decreed. With this sacred space being completely cleared, and that we are conscious of our single soul occupancy, let's look at shifting mental pain with interpretation analysis. So, in order to clear and shift mind control and negative thoughts from running one's life, one must identify them as the symptoms of the planetary and personal consciousness evolution. This time on Earth, more than any other time in human history, is an incredible push towards consciousness participation, for humanity to regain spiritual liberation. Liberation is free from the effects of negative thoughts and free from emotional suffering. Each time you shift an emotional response from anger or judgment to love, joy, gratitude, and acceptances, you are doing global service work at a personal level. There is an attitude of interpreting life that will bring you inner peace, calmness, joy, happiness, unconditional love, and equanimity, regardless of what is going on in your life and the outside world. There is another attitude of interpreting life that will make you feel upset, angry, irritable, impatient, moody, emotional, unstable, and depressed. These are two examples of choices one can make at every moment when interpreting our life experiences. Neither of these emotional states have anything to do with what is actually going on in your life or in the environment. It has everything to do with how one is interpreting one's life. Every chronic state of mental pain that is generated through anger, fear, or worry is an opportunity for one to see the places where love, forgiveness, and self-acceptance are required to heal. This pain or fear shows us the areas we need to transcend in order to evolve from beyond the ego's mental control over our lives and into being guided by the higher intelligence of our inner spirit. As long as we resist the inner work necessary to clear fear attitudes and their pain responses, we remain spiritually stagnant. When we hit cycles of spiritual stagnation, we will feel immense pain or discomfort that will force us to address that pain in order to be liberated from it. Spiritual development is not always comfortable, and many of us are going beyond, very, very, very beyond our comfort zone at this time, in order to progress to the next level that our spiritual self is demanding from us. If there is spiritual stagnation present, one will be pushed hard to transform. This is a byproduct of spiritual ascension on our planet, and that discomfort shows the pathway to developing and refining the path of liberation, which is only found by following your inner spirit. The higher spiritual intelligence necessitates that we only have preferences by releasing control to the outcome of events in our lives. This is a process of surrendering and known by the phrase, let go and let God. If we become attached to a person, place, thing, or the outcome, then manipulation and interference are a byproduct of that attachment. Attachment is an ego control mechanism based in fear, deep fear. If we are attached to something and it is creating spiritual stagnation, that object will be removed from our lives so we can refocus ourselves back on the inner spirit. This is also why practicing having preferences over ego attachment will be a much easier process with less emotional pain. If we get the lesson the first time, the lesson does not have to be repeated. Inner peace is a state of mind that accepts the current state of circumstances as they are, without judgment. When faced with adversity, one looks for the opportunity to learn its lesson in order to move past old recurring patterns. This expands our consciousness as we transcend previous limitations. When we move through our fears and perceived limitations, we gain incredible amounts of personal power through enhanced self-esteem. When we know we have the power of our spirit within us, we know we are cared for and that things in our life will work out. We all have the power of our eternal spirit within us to guide us and keep us safe. The 12D shield process is the beginning, which allows us to develop a deeper communication link with this aspect of ourselves. However, we must learn to remove fear and mental bondage in order to be liberated from its control over the body. The body must be prepared to embody the spiritual light, and with that, fear programs and negative thoughts those must be removed in order to embody the spiritual light, your own spiritual light. as one feels guided if mental programs have been difficult to control. Here is an exercise provided below to bring them to one's surface awareness, as we acknowledge these thoughts as stemming from negative ego, similar to facing the ghosts that have been haunting the shadows of our mind. We can see the ghost for what it is. When we face it clearly, revealing it from its hidden shadows, its power is diminished and it ceases to have the ability to terrorize us. Shadows are only powerful when they remain hidden and buried. As the shadow masquerades in falsity that uses fear to torment us with lies, be brave. Be brave to reveal them and place them to face your real spiritual self, the eternal self. As I am God, I am sovereign, I am free. Our personal sovereignty awaits us through the release of fears by applying personal responsibility to our thoughts and emotions. Choose your authority now, knowing that you are a God, sovereign, free being. The next exercises are designed to look a little bit more into yourself. There are 6 steps in which you will have to describe a little bit of yourself. Please do the best to be truthful, because this is you looking at you without judgment. Just you looking at you. One, describe your total responsibility for the fear and any of your physical imbalances. 2. Describe the addictions, obsessions, and negative thoughts you will stop now. 3. Describe your spiritual connection to the universe. 4. Describe the behaviors you will start now. 5. Describe the behaviors you will stop now. 6. Describe your process of detachment. It's easy, and again, it's you looking at you as you progress on your ascension stairway. Be truthful to yourself. When feeling mentally overwhelmed, return to read what you have written. Review the responsibility you agreed to hold and the commitment you have made to yourself to be liberated from the bondage of the mind. Continue to practice now moment awareness and the many other tools available on the Krystal Aegis Ascension Glossary pages and the Energetic Synthesis website. During this time, let the world unfold and reveal its pathway without pushing to attempt to figure it all out. Allow things to be what they are. Allow people to be where they are. When personal expectations are shattered from having attachments, practice the skill of allowing. Allow it to be the way that it is. Just relax, let go, and allow. May these times bring peace to reside deeply in our heart. Remind yourself that getting angry is not going to be positive for your health or fix anything, as it won't make you feel any better and may actually make you feel worse. Comprehension of the larger picture of events also diffuses personal anger, because anger, even when it's justified, can quickly become irrational or mentally obsessive. Commit to see the larger picture, depersonalize the events, and remind yourself that to bring peace into your daily life, one must practice being peaceful. Remind yourself that the world is not out to get you. You're just experiencing some of the rough spots. Do this each time you feel anger, getting the best out of you, and it will help you get into a more balanced perspective. Also use the negative ego clearing tools. 5 steps to clear negative ego is suggested. Learn how to refocus your mind back into positive outlets when in the heat of the moment. Angry and disconnected people tend to demand things like fairness, appreciation, agreements, or a willingness to do things in order to control things to go their way. Everyone has preferences, and we may feel hurt and disappointed when things do not go the way we would like them to go. But angry people demand what they want rather than build trust to earn what they want. And when their demands aren't being met, their disappointment and frustration can easily become anger. As part of their cognitive restructuring, angry people need to become aware of their demanding nature and translate their expectations into desires, being respectfully communicated to others. In other words, making requests. I would like this is healthier than saying, I demand this. I must have something done this way right now. When an angry, disconnected person is unable to get what they want, they will experience the common reactions of frustration, disappointment, and hurt. Some angry people use their anger as a way to avoid feeling emotional pain. But that doesn't mean the hurt feelings go away. Most of the time, their anger outbursts is buried on top of many unresolved emotional conflicts and painful wounding that they have avoided addressing. What about problem solving? Sometimes anger and frustration are caused by very real challenges and inescapable problems in our lives. Not all anger is misplaced, and often it's a healthy, natural response to these difficulties. The best attitude to bring to such a situation is to focus not on finding the solution, but rather on how to handle and face the problem in the moment. Suppressing anger is not productive, where acknowledging the feeling and finding a way to release the tension and stress without harming others around you is very productive. We are about to reach the closing part. So, make a plan and check your progress along the way. People who have trouble with planning might find a good guide to organizing or time management helpful. Resolve to give it your best, but don't punish yourself if an answer doesn't come right away. If you can approach the issue with your best intention and efforts, then you will be less likely to lose patience and fall into all or nothing thinking, even if the problem does not get solved right away. Yes, take a breath. All of these patterns are being refined during this time to give us the opportunity to see what needs to change or heal inside ourselves. This is a time where we must learn to create our new reality from an entirely new palette of color, an entirely new way of thinking and being in this world. As you pay attention to these old patterns, you may begin to see them as repeated patterns of memory and beds that influence your thoughts and feelings. Their unresolved distortions deeply impact our mental, emotional, and social aspects at so many different levels, which can potentially create dysfunction and imbalance. These mental and emotional imbalances within simultaneously create deep energetic imbalances and blockages within our energy, body, and aura. The mental games and control programs that are run by our unconscious self, those larger behavior patterns that are set by and accepted by mass society, are coming into blaring review at this time. We have to see who and what is running a racket into the mental body and our unconscious mind and allowing its fear to be programmed into our emotional body. So a racket is a corrupt mental program running in our conscious or unconscious self that justifies itself into being in order to protect the psyche from its deepest and darkest fears. For the closing part, another easy exercise for you to do with yourself. Yes, you spending time with yourself, loving yourself, feeling cared for yourself, feeling your single soul occupancy, your mighty I am self. Unraveling old behaviors can be extremely humbling and give one the sense of the true immense force that exists within the emotional body. It is important to witness them and try not to be overwhelmed or consumed by them. Here is a little exercise to assist in regards to closure and acceptance on all past patterns or circumstances. It is extremely helpful to give voice to what may be unresolved conflicts in your mind or that have been unexpressed and unacknowledged. For each person or circumstance, here are the questions to ask yourself and write out completely. 1. List all resentments. 2. List all regrets. 3. Write all unsaid or undelivered communications. 4. List anything you would have wanted to acknowledge to that person or in that circumstance, but did not. When it feels complete, burn or shred the paper and invoke it out loud. I address my greater God self for final release and disposition. Please witness my declaration of power. I resolve any and all vows and agreements that I have taken, anyone in this body has taken, and anyone within my genetic lineage has taken pertaining to any vow of illusion, separation, and disharmony. Remove and clear all negative implants, ancestral patterning, genetic patterning, and improper karmic attachments to the system of domination and control, seen and unseen. Known or unknown to me. Any type of attachment to any type of system of domination and control and entities. I claim my divine inheritance and self-sovereign God power now. I claim my divine inheritance and self-sovereign God power now. I claim my divine inheritance and self-sovereign God power now. I now declare these vows and agreements as null and void in this incarnation and all incarnations across space and time, all parallel realities, parallel universes, alternate realities, alternate universes, all planetary systems, all source systems, all dimensions, and the void. My beloved spirit, please release all structures, devices, entities, orientations, or effects associated with these vows and agreements now. In deep love and gratitude, I thank you. We thank you. I am Ra, the Yellow Crystal Warrior again, the Pathfinder, and we hope these tools prove to be supportive in the commitment to clear your mind and achieve inner peace. Like all the practices here, first, 21 days of practice. If the issue persists, persist for 19 days until all is cleared. Thank you, thank you, thank you, beautiful souls made of love and light, and also power and peace that originates in the one open heart of the one infinite and intelligence source creator directly to you, an image and resemblance of the one intelligent and infinite source creator.